rebel group damage crucial fiber optic cables, or was it an accident? With buildings in Gaza turned to rubble, only keys remain of what used to be home to thousands of Palestinians. Egypt implements policy changes to reduce inflation. All this and more, catch the West Asia Post at these times only on WION The World is One.
Hello and welcome to WION live broadcast from London. I'm Oliver Regan and these are the headlines. The UK's Labour Party receives over $16 million, its highest ever donation amount from wealthy individuals and companies in 2023. Narrows the funding gap with the Tories. Former UK Prime Minister Theresa May says she will step down as a Member of Parliament at the next general election, marking an end to her parliamentary career after 27 years. Philanthropist and author Sudha Murthy, nominated to the Indian Parliament's upper house, the Rajya Sabha, Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauds her contribution in diverse fields, including women's power. Murthy also happens to be the mother-in-law of the UK Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. Amid failing talks with Hamas in Cairo, Netanyahu says he will launch ground offensive in Rafah, the last town in Gaza, strip housing more than 1 million displaced in the war. After decades of maintaining neutral position, Sweden officially joins the US-led North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. And Ukraine claims downing 33 of Russia's 37 drones launched overnight in an attack on southern Odessa infrastructure facility. Alleged attack days after Russian forces hit the city during the Greek Prime Minister's visit. Heading into a general election, donations are now pouring in for the UK's political parties. Parties received $119 million in donations last year, almost double what they got in 2022. The Labour Party got its sustained double-digit lead over the ruling Conservatives in opinion polls. The Conservatives also had a successful fundraising year. They accepted $61 million in donations over the last year, of which $46 million came from individuals. It marks a significant increase on 2022, when the Conservatives accepted just $17.9 million in donations. Well, the UK's Election Commission data comes as speculation continues to mount over the timing of the next general election in the UK. It's expected to be held in the autumn, in the country, that starts around November. But Labour's been pushing the government to call a general election sooner, whilst it enjoys a 19-point lead. For that, the government would need to dissolve Parliament on the 26th of March to call an election on the 2nd of May, which is the date of the local elections. The latest the general election can be held in the UK is January 12th. Rafah straddles the border between the Gaza Strip and Egypt. Approximately 1.4 million Palestinians have now been pushed into Rafah by relentless Israeli bombing. People are in dense clusters in the limited space, not filled with debris or being bombed by Israel. Conditions are dire, with severe shortages.
There is international pressure and it is growing. But particularly when the international pressure rises, we must close ranks. We need to stand together against the attempts to stop the war. Israeli military will continue to operate against Hamas in all the Gaza Strip, including in Rafah, Hamas's final stronghold. Whoever tells us not to act in Rafah is telling us to lose the war. And that will not happen.
תודה לכבוד ראש הממשלה הנכבד. אני מתכבד להזמין את כבוד שר הביטחון מר יואב גלנט לשאת את דבריו לבוקר.
Gaza health authorities say more than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed in the enclave since the war began. It was triggered by the Hamas attack on October 7th, during which 1,200 people were killed in southern Israel and 253 were taken hostage. The war in Gaza continues to make headlines. It's been 5 months since the Israel-Hamas war began, with no end at the moment in sight. Our correspondent Jodie Collins speaks with the former chief of Mossad, Tamir Pardo, about the war.
So I'm with Tamir Pardo, the former head of the Mossad. Mr. Pardo, how do you feel that things are going 5 months in?
As I said previously, I am still looking and waiting for the post-war strategy of my government. The moment we'll see it, I think we'll start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. For the moment, unfortunately, we don't have a post-war strategy, and it's quite a sad situation.
So do you feel the war will continue until that post-war strategy is sort of decided?
Unfortunately, no doubt.
Thank you for speaking with WION.
Thank you.
Sweden officially joined the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation on Thursday, making it the newest member of the military alliance. Stockholm abandoned its non-alignment policy for greater safety within the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Sweden's last war ended in 1814, and when the rifles and cannons it aimed at Norway fell silent, the once warring power would not take up arms again. For the next 2 centuries, Sweden embraced a policy of neutrality, refusing to take sides in wars or join any military alliance. It was a stance that kept peace at home and contributed to the country becoming a prosperous welfare state and humanitarian superpower. Sweden also brings resources such as cutting-edge submarines tailored to Baltic Sea conditions into the alliance, and not to forget a sizable fleet of domestically produced Gripen fighter jets.
Sweden officially joined the North Atlantic Treaty Organization on Thursday, making it the newest member of the military alliance. The nation's prime minister was in Washington to mark the milestone.
Today is a truly historic day.
Sweden's membership follows another Scandinavian nation, Finland, in the 2 years after Russia's invasion of Ukraine forced European capitals to rethink the risk posed by Moscow.
Russia will stay a serious threat to the Euro-Atlantic security for the foreseeable future. It was in this light that Sweden applied to join the NATO defense alliance, to gain security, but also to provide security. We have unique capabilities to contribute on land, in the air, at sea. Our support to Ukraine is a fundamental part of that.
NATO's expansion is also a blow for Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has sought to prevent any further strengthening of the alliance.
This has been a little bit of a road, but I think we've known from day one that we would be here today.
The U.S. had pushed hard for Sweden's membership. Here's U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
Our NATO alliance, our defensive alliance, is now stronger and larger than it's ever been.
Sweden faced opposition from members Turkey and Hungary, which both have cordial relations with Russia. But Istanbul relented in January and Budapest agreed last month.
The United Kingdom's foreign minister reinforced unity within NATO during his Germany visit. This comes after a recording of a call among German military officials was leaked by Russian media last week. It included discussions about Germany possibly supplying long-range Taurus missiles to Ukraine. Well, the war-torn country has been urging Berlin for these weapons for a long time, but the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has refused to supply them. The leaked call recorded triggered conversations about the extent of Germany's support to Ukraine.
Putin is interested in sowing discord in our alliance and deliberately causing our democracies to falter. We are countering this with our determination and unity because we will not be intimidated by Putin.
While refusing to push Germany to provide the much-needed weapons to Ukraine, the UK Foreign Minister David Cameron said long-range weapons supplied by his country had helped Ukraine fight off Russia's illegal aggression.
Today there's incredible unity between Britain and Germany and France and America and across Europe in helping Ukraine to fight off this aggression with everything we can. Now, of course, we're going to have areas where we want to discuss what more we can do, what more we can help. And those are the sorts of discussions that good friends and allies with this unity have in private.
Taurus missiles can hit targets up to 500 kilometres. This means these missiles can travel twice as far as the Storm Shadow and Scalp missiles which have been supplied by the UK and France to Ukraine. Taurus missiles would enable Ukraine to reach as far as Moscow. Germany says providing these weapons could amount to getting involved in the war. The 38-minute call recording also discussed how the UK had been working with Ukraine in deploying Storm Shadow missiles. It even hinted at the presence of British troops in Ukraine. The call also included a discussion on potential targets that the Taurus could reach, including the strategically vital Crimea Bridge. The Kremlin has slammed Germany, calling the audio as blatant self-exposure. Since then, Germany's been trying to reassure its allies. A United Airlines jetliner on the way to Japan made a safe landing after it lost a tyre while taking off from San Francisco. Fire engine trucks stood by the Los Angeles International Airport but weren't needed. The Boeing 777 made an uneventful landing and stopped about two-thirds of the way down a runway. Airport spokesman Di Levine said the plane landed safely and it was then towed away. United Airlines said the flight had 235 passengers and a crew of 14. It added that the plane, built in 2002, was designed to land safely with damaged tyres. Well, Boeing 777s have 6 tyres on each of the 2 main landing gears. Video of Flight 35 departing shows the plane losing one of the 6 tyres on its left side, main landing gear assembly, seconds just after takeoff. The tyre debris landed in an airport employee parking lot at San Francisco International Airport. No one was injured and the runway was briefly closed to clear the debris, but it has now reopened. The Federal Aviation Administration will investigate the incident. Analysts say Boeing's reputation has taken a nosedive with a string of safety problems, including 2 devastating crashes for the aerospace giant. The most serious issues have involved the 737 MAX, the latest version of its trusted 737, a workhorse of passenger aviation. Boeing recently dismissed the head of the 737 jetliner program. There have been cases of engine fires, safety and manufacturing problems, and also others have plagued models. Boeing's 2-aisle 787 has been plagued by manufacturing problems that have sporadically held up deliveries. Many female scientists, engineers and leaders have made major breakthroughs over the years. Did you know that some of the key technologies that you use almost daily have been invented by women? On International Women's Day, here's a reminder of the many contributions women have made over the years.
There are many women who have made significant contributions to the field of technology. They have invented various important technologies that we rely on today. But sadly, women are still underrepresented in tech. As Women's Day is approaching, we tell you about some interesting inventions created by women over the years. There are a few surprises as well. Can you do without a heater in your car during winter? You know that you can't, and for that, you can thank mechanical engineer Margaret Wilcox, who invented the first ever car heater. In 1893, Margaret Wilcox patented the design for the very first car heater. What's even more interesting, she did it in an era where being a mechanical engineer was a rarity, and it was even more difficult for a woman. And it's not just the heater in your car. The wiper to clear off the windshield was also the brainchild of a woman. It was at the beginning of the 20th century when Mary Anderson discovered that people had to stop their cars and get out of them to clear snow and ice off windshields. American inventor Mary Anderson is popularly known for devising the first operational windscreen wiper in 1903. This innovation has an interesting history. Home security devices come in really handy when you are away. They let you remotely monitor your house. But did you know that the first home security system was developed by a woman? African-American inventor Marie Van Britten Brown realized that law enforcement officers in her neighborhood were slow in responding to calls. So she found her own way to ensure safety. Her invention paved the way for modern home security systems that we use today. Wi-Fi is one thing that most of us can't live without. Be it airports or cafes, the first thing that many of us look for is access to Wi-Fi. But who invented it? Meet Hedy Lamarr. She invented what eventually became the precursor to many wireless technologies such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS. These popular wireless technologies are now used by billions of people around the world. Women inventors have played a vital role in the world of innovation. Truly, we need more women leaders in tech.
Liverpool kicked off their Europa League knockout campaign with an emphatic 5-1 win over Sparta Prague in the first leg of the last 16 tie. Darwin Núñez warmed up for the blockbuster Premier League clash against Manchester City by scoring 2 stunners, including the 1000th goal of Jurgen Klopp's reign. Liverpool are chasing a quadruple in Klopp's farewell season, and the German named a strong